You are listening to Confessions of a Counselor podcast with Janice, mental health in bite-sized chunks. Hi everyone, and welcome back to Confessions of a Counselor. I'm your host Janice, and in today's episode, the start of season 13, which is hard to believe that we're already here in season 13, but in today's episode, I thought we would talk about emotional regulation. So this is something that's come up in sessions a lot lately, and has kind of shifted for me as a therapist throughout my practice, and has really started to kind of develop into a whole process that I kind of go through with clients on how to regulate our emotions. So let's jump right in. So in terms of emotional regulation, I thought we would talk today in the episode about like what is emotional regulation. So I think we've definitely seen a shift in therapy, moving away from kind of strict, either like cognitive therapy, where we're just talking about what's happening in our minds and how we can kind of think our way through problems, to behavioral therapy, where it's all about our actions. What am I doing? How am I showing up? And then we mixed those two things together. How does our cognitive and our behavior work together, right? So that's that CBT type therapy, where we're thinking about our thoughts and we're thinking about our actions and how do they interact. And we've seen this really kind of subtle shift over the last kind of 5 to 10 years, where we're starting to integrate our bodies more into that behavioral piece, right? So what's happening internally for me? What are my feelings? What are my emotions around this? And how does that actually play into our physiology? So we've shifted into emotionally regulating doesn't mean just identifying I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling mad, I'm feeling overwhelmed, I'm feeling anxious, right? That means what is actually physically happening in my body as I'm experiencing those emotions. And how do I go from that feeling being so overwhelming and unregulated, if you will, into I can manage this feeling. I can identify this feeling. I know what this feeling is, and I can manage with it. I can live with it and I can move through it versus kind of around it or kind of talking my way through it, right? So, what does it feel like to really regulate my body, to feel and be in my body? And when I first started my practice, I was really marrying the idea of yoga and therapy together, and kind of trying to mash them together in a way that didn't work. And so over the last 10 years, I've really seen this progression both in the therapy world in general and in my practice, where we're starting to see more subtle ways to integrate these things, more subtle ways to integrate these beliefs of being in my body, living in my body, um, experiencing my body, and kind of talking about the emotional impact of doing so. So it's been a really interesting shift. And I think kind of taking the next season to kind of talk about what does it mean to emotionally regulate? What does it mean to feel okay in my body, even when my emotions feel really heightened or overwhelming, perhaps even volatile. What does it look like to kind of move through those and live through them? So that's my hope for the season, and that hopefully you will find some insights into it. So I look forward to chatting soon. Until next time, take care. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Confessions of a Counselor podcast is available anywhere you like to listen to your podcasts, both on Apple and Android. New episodes are released every Friday. If you enjoyed today's episode, please feel free to join the conversation, leave a review, or subscribe to the podcast hosted on Spotify. You can find all these details on janicelyons.com. Until next time, take care.